Hi, Julie here. Welcome back for another Sunday snippet. This week we have a special request for sky replacement. So I'm going to show you two quick ways to do it. I'm just going to use the same image, which is this old church I've got here. It's not the world's greatest image, but it's got a good chunk of sky in it to replace, and it's got a few fiddly bits to go around to fix it. So what I'm going to do is, to start with, if you have a plain blue sky but you want to add some interest, a quick way is to just add some clouds. Now this is just a blue sky with clouds out of one of my cloud packs, and I'm just going to bring it in and pop it straight over the top. Now I'm happy to stretch it a bit. If you wanted to, you could add a subtle blur to it, but I'm just going to leave it as is. So I've got it to fit my image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down to the adjustments, and I'm going to make it a black and white image, and I'm going to attach or clip that to the cloud image. So clicking this little box here will give you this little arrow, which means that this layer here only affects the cloud layer, not anything below it. Still doesn't help solve all our issues yet, but we're getting there. So what I'm going to do is drop back down to the cloud layer, and I'm going to set that to screen, which allows all the black or the dark in the image to disappear. So it's still not giving us quite what we want, so we're going to add a levels adjustment layer, which is still clipped to that cloud layer, and I'm going to bring the blacks up and the whites down, and using this middle bit you can make your clouds as strong as you like. So happy to leave it about there. Now that's great for the sky, but you don't want your clouds over the building, right? So we're going to drop back down to this layer, and using the quick selection tool, which is this one here, we're going to select the sky, and using a mask we're going to mask that out. Now what we're going to do now is a little bit tricky. We're going to grab this layer mask and we're going to drag it up and put it on the cloud layer so that it only covers the sky, not the building. So that's a quick and easy way to add some clouds to your image. So that's that way. So I'm just going to go and get rid of all of those. Now the next way is if I want to get rid of that sky altogether. So I've got another image here. This is a really sort of dark and stormy image. I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to pop it on and stretch it out, and again you could blur it if you want to, and I'm going to pop that in. I'm just going to drag it underneath this layer here. So coming back to this layer, I'm again going to grab my quick selection tool, and I'm going to grab the sky. Now it missed on a few bits and pieces, so if I click to Alt I can fix that, and anything else that may have missed, these little turrets here. Now it's still not perfect, but if I click layer mask I can hit Control I to invert it. Now you can see where it has missed, but that's okay. If I hover over the layer mask I can right click and I can go to select and mask. I can then come in and paint in all those little bits that we missed. I think that's about it, and click OK. And now I have a whole new image with a completely different sky, and I can go on working from there. Now there are other ways to do this. You could just put in a layer mask and paint it in. If you had trees or things like that, you could come in onto the layer mask with a brush, and I would suggest you pick something a little bit scrubby. Maybe a splatter brush, or actually a chalk brush would be really good. And you can come in and paint in sort of what you've missed if you wanted to around trees. Something like this would give you, you know, a really good edge. There's no trees in this image, so it's a bit hard to tell. But something like that would then, see, now I've mucked up what I did before. That's okay. You could then come through and use a scrubby brush to go around and clean up the trees. If you were changing from a really bright blue image to a really dark grey image, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to work with. But if you're working especially from blue to blue and you're just adding clouds or dimension or something like that, then it can really make a difference. But if you come in, you know, there's another bit that I see that I missed before. That I need to paint in. If you really want to be perfect about it all, which you can be, if you zoom in, you can then come in and you can get, make sure you got the right color selected, but you can come in and you can fix that all up doing that. See, once I've gone in, had a look up close, I've seen actually how much has been missed and forgotten, and it's always good to zoom in and do that. Now I do have this halo effect which can happen using this method, but again, if you come back into select a mask, you can actually shift your edge in a fraction, and you could come in, say, 1 or 2 pixels. Might even come in a bit more. And that's pulling that edge in. So you can see how the halo is starting to disappear. I've still got to get rid of that around there. Sorry, because I'm recording, my computer's now hanging a bit, which happens. But by increasing the radius of your pixels, even up to say 5 pixels, that will bring your edges in a little bit. If you've got trees and things like that, that can really work well too. You just need to make sure that when you zoom in that you've got everything selected that you need to. I've got lots here that I have, when I look in, I see that I have actually missed. And if I want to, I can still come in on that layer mask, and we're just working on the layer mask in colors, so I'm just coming in here and painting out what I have missed and covering up those halos which are still there. I'm only doing this quickly, but if you take a little bit more time, you will get a far better job than what I have. Going all the way across. Let's see how we go. So yeah, so some of the halo is still there, but it's quite easy to come in, and get rid of that with a brush. So that's it for this week's Sunday snippet. If you have anything else that you want me to do, to explain, go through, cover off, whatever. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.